Welcome back, Short Kings. It's another month of new games and another month of games that are leaving. Next month, we are losing Judgment, which is the big one. I highly recommend you play it, but since this is a Short Games channel, we will focus on the ones you should, and let's be honest, could play and beat in the next month, because a month might not be enough time to beat a long game for a lot of people. Luckily, these games are under 10 hours each, so they don't ask for too much of your time. Tinykin. The first one I want to talk about is Tinykin. Tinykin is a charming 3D platformer with puzzle elements that takes you on an adventure that takes place in a miniature world. A once grand house that has become a sprawling metropolis for insects and other tiny creatures. Tinykin offers smooth and satisfying platforming mechanics. Sometimes it feels like a Tony Hawk game as you're just gliding and speedrunning the 3D miniature environment. But it's not just about jumping and running. You'll use your Tinykin to create platforms, bridges, and even power devices, adding a layer of strategic thinking to your jumps and leaps. What makes this such a fun game are the tiny creatures that essentially give you powers. You collect more and more throughout your adventure, enabling you to reach further and higher. Each type of Tinykin possesses a unique ability, such as lifting heavy objects, exploding obstacles, or conducting electricity, or my favorite, just being able to climb higher and higher and building a tower with them. You'll strategically deploy these tiny helpers to overcome challenges and progress through the game. The game encourages exploration with hidden areas, secret passages, and collectibles scattered throughout the environment. The game only takes about 6 hours if you focus on the main story, but if you want to do all the side quests and collectibles, it'll be almost twice that. There's no need to, but the movement is so satisfying, especially at the end of the game. You'll feel so powerful that you'll want to use your new powers to explore and collect all of the things that you've missed. Overall, Tinykin's unique blend of platforming, puzzle solving, and creature management gives a fresh twist to a familiar gameplay experience. We don't have too many 3D platformers on Extra, or even PlayStation for that matter, so this is quite a treat to play. It's a game that rewards exploration, strategic thinking, and a bit of creativity. It has a Metacritic rating of 78 and the majority of players beat the story, which is saying a lot. The next must-play short game on the list is Prodeus. Prodeus is a strange one. A lot of these retro games aim for that NES, SNES era, but you almost never ever have anyone aiming for the N64, PS1 era. And that's what this game is doing. I mean, those games are over 25 years old by now, so I feel it's about time we recognize them as vintage. Prodeus is a modern take on classic first-person, first 3D, shooters like Doom, Quake, and Duke Nukem. It offers a unique blend of retro aesthetics which you can customize to your liking, making it more pixelated and authentic, or run much smoother at a whopping 360p. It combines this retro aesthetic with modern graphic techniques and particle physics. So you'll have this low poly 3D look of Quake, but the advanced lighting and shading techniques of modern shooters. This creates a dynamic and memorable atmosphere. The gameplay is as you expect. Fast-paced, intense, first-person shooter action with satisfying gameplay. Blasting through hordes of enemies using stronger and stronger weapons. Shotguns, machine guns, to plasma rifles, rocket launchers, and railguns. The game demands quick reflexes and precise movements and strategic use of cover. The levels are well designed and it will hit a nerve of nostalgia that has been collecting dust. It's a great tribute to a bygone era. The game also has a level editor, which I won't get into, because we're all about beating the game fast before they go away. But if you are thinking of buying it after it leaves the service, there's way more content waiting for you. Oh yeah, did I mention that this has co-op as well? So you get that Halo co-op experience thrown in there too, as you both blast through zombies in a PvE bloodbath. Prodeus should take you about 7 hours to beat, and double that if you want to collect everything for the platinum. Definitely give this one a try. If you don't like it, you don't have to beat it, but just throw yourself into that retro 3D world just for old time's sake. Or if you're younger, this is how every FPS used to look like. You kids don't know how good you have it these days. The last game I want to talk about is basically shovelware, but I kinda still had fun with it. GIGABASH. GIGABASH is the Super Smash Bros. That PlayStation never got. It's a brawler that's all about kaijus and giant robots. Pacific Rim meets Super Smash Bros. Or maybe Rampage? It has destructible city environments and both local and online multiplayer. Each kaiju has its own moveset and abilities. The game's combat system is very easy to learn, but it has a surprising depth to it. You can even transform into an S-tier mega version of your monster to do some mega damage. I guess this is kind of like Power Rangers 2 in a way. Anyways, I'm not going to talk too long about this game because it's a very short game. You'll beat it in just one sit through. It's only about 2.5 hours to finish the whole single player campaign and unlock most of the characters. players. You can have up to 4 players battling out for some stupid fun. It has both local and online co-op. It's just dumb fun that won't waste too much of your time, but the last boss will give you a little run for your money. Quite a little challenge there for an easy game. The last game on the list I can't talk too much about because I haven't beat or even played it yet. It's Moonscars. Now, right off the bat, this game is not for everybody. It is a 2D action-adventure game with Souls-like elements, and if you're a gamer, you know what that means. If you're a casual, that means every time you hear Souls-like, you'll think high difficulty and rage quit-inducing, throw your controller type of experience. Moonscars features a non-linear world with interconnected areas, requiring players to backtrack and revisit location as they gain new abilities. So, a Metroidvania. Now here's where it gets interesting, for better or worse. When you die in Moonscars, which is already a difficult game, you'll respawn at the nearest checkpoint, but there's a unique mechanic called Moon Hunger. Basically what this means is that the game ironically gets harder the more you die. It increases your power, but also the enemy difficulty and rewards, adding a layer of risk to your gameplay that'll make you rage quit even more. It requires a Souls-born level of patience. Definitely not for everyone, but if you're a serious gamer thinking, these are just kiddie titles, give this a try. It might humble you. Now this feature is all exciting when it's brand new, but it gets increasingly frustrating when it comes to the bosses. Think of how often you die to bosses in these kinds of games. You gotta fight, learn the pattern, and then try again when you found out what you gotta do. But in this case, the boss is technically the easiest on your first try, so the longer it takes you, the harder it gets. Yep. Definitely not for everybody. Actually, now that I think about it, I don't even know if I'm going to try it. Now it got me scared. Anyways, those are some fun games to try out next month before they run away. Beat them before Black Friday, because a lot of people's subscription end at the end of this month. So you only have about 10 days or so before it expires, and beat maybe one of these games. So let's hope they repeat last year's sale, but that's a topic for another video. So until next time, be a friend and I'll see you again.